Hello everybody, it's Anthony here. Today I'm doing another image potential video, and this image today is of a bursting bubble at 640th of a second. So I captured it bursting against this kind of background of detritus, and I really like this shot. I think it has potential to have a lot of to flesh out the ideas I had, the kind of like fantastical imagination I was picturing when I thought of taking these shots. The burst bubble has a very organic feel. It almost I read a lot of sci-fi and used to read a lot of fantasy, and it has kind of an alien kind of appeal to me. So I imagined it like an alien visiting us and traveling over our landscape. And this is the first place it landed, and it's going, what a crap hole, So I think the image has a lot of potential, and I want to see what I can do with this. So let's find out. So I'm going to begin here by having a look at the image. I know I got to mask this off, and I've got a lot of like these little tendrils, kind of. You can see the burst bubble here. Let me get this, and get rid of all these windows. Yeah, so you see I want to mask it off, and if it's some kind of like, it almost has like a face here, and it's like a profile of something, right? I kind of see that. I don't know. I don't expect other people to see it, but that doesn't really matter to me. So what I want to do is I want to give it kind of like a crystalline glass look, and probably drop the background down a bit and try some things and see how it works. Get this panel up here. I'm not going to even try object selection. I'm going to manually brush in my selection. So I'm going to go to the brush. I need to name it. New brush. And let me zoom in here and increase the size a bit. I think the edge, the feather's good. I'm just going to mask this off. I'm using a tablet and with a pen to make this a bit easier, and my bracket keys for the size, and I'm just going through here and getting all the edge, right? So I think I'll go around the edge and then get a bigger brush and do the rest. Now the transparency, you can see it's translucent, and I am getting some of the background through it, a lot of it actually. The background is giving it its kind of character appeal, so I'm not sure how that's going to turn out, but I'll see. This is a lot easier doing it with a pen than a mouse. Maybe I'll just zoom through here, and when I'm done, I'll get down back to grading it or adjusting it. So give me a second here. Now these these little thin lines I'm not very good at, but I think it might be worth it because their density is a lot lighter than the background, so I think it can really make them stand out if I can paint them well. I'm only going to do the stuff that's attached to it really, because otherwise I would be here all day. You can see how much stuff is bursting around here. You know what? I think I'm going to go back and see what the adjustments look like before I continue on spending a lot of time just doing the little strings of bubble. Yeah. Okay, so let's just say that is our mask. Yeah. I'm going to turn it off now. And like I said, I wanted to give this a nice glowy feel, like it's crystalline and stuff like that. So what I know it's going to need is some contrast. So I'm not really interested in making the blacks blacker, but I'm more interested in the white. So I'm going to start there and bring up the whites. Yeah. And the highlights. Right. So you can see like the highlights here in the background are coming through. a bit brighter. So the highlights are not really working for me for this idea, so I'm gonna bring those back down. Maybe I'll just mask those out a little bit, maybe do 50%. Go back and erase it and do like 50%. Let's try some contrast and some exposure. Okay, add some exposure, and I'll bring the highlights down and bring the whites back down a bit. And then I'm going to try some clarity. Yeah. So let me toggle this on and off. So I'm going to toggle the out of gamut, and I see got a lot of highlight stuff there, and I do want to retain that detail, so I'm going to drag that down there. Actually, I think I'm going to do it with exposure. There we go. Bring it down with exposure and then bring the highlights back up. Yeah, maybe to bring the whites back up. Maybe it's nice like that. And on and off again. I think I want to add which size of dehaze will give me some. Add some dehaze there. So now I'm getting in that kind of glass look, but I'm getting a lot of black in there. So I'm gonna lift up the shadows also. Maybe this thing is like diffracting the light in the background. No, the black is not really working too well. I want that to match the background for now. Try a little bit more exposure and bring the highlights down, just adjusting it as I go along, trying to find something, and then the contrast, definitely want to try to mess with that again. And all right, let me zoom out here and have a look. So the before and after. Yeah, that's kind of like what I'm hoping for. And you can see the line here that I painted looks really cool. So I'm gonna have to go through and do most of that. And let's see how that works. All right, so but I'm gonna do that later. Right now, I'm happy kind of with like what this thing looks like. Yeah, I kind of got that glassy, highlighted look, really super specular. And so I'm going to go here and I'm going to duplicate and invert the mask. So now I have one just for the background, yeah? And I'll turn that off. And to give this even more kind of punch, I'm just going to drop the exposure down. All right, I'm going to drop the exposure down in the background just a little bit, like so, yeah? And maybe come in here to the detail bar here and drop down the sharpness, because the thing is very I'm just gonna call it the bubble. The bubble's very crystalline and sharp. So to drop out some of the background, make it less sharp is a good move. And this image really feels like it needs a crop. I know I'm gonna crop it, so I think I'm gonna just do that right now. I'm gonna hit R, go to my crop tool, and let's see, what can I get rid of? I can get rid of this space up here, that circle there. Let me get that up there. I'll also do this, it's a bit easier for me. And I'm locked to the ratio. I don't think that big graffiti thing in the corner really helps. It's kind of distracting. So if I maybe like this, I want it centered. Yes, I want this centered. So about something like that. Okay. So I'm kind of happy with this. I'm really happy with that. Let me get this corner. I like clean things, so I'm gonna come down here and I'm gonna put it just off center to make it look like it's moving more forward, right? Kind of like so. Yeah, like that. And how about like that? I'll probably end up going to a square, honestly. Get this background darker. All right, so let's see the before and after now. So there's a normal kind of straight out of camera, and the the adjusted version. So I see some things I need to go to. I'm going to go back to this, and I'm definitely going to bring the whites down. Oh, let me touch the blacks. I'm going to bring down the whites again. Now I'm going to bring down the whites, and then I'm going to try texture to make it a little bit more punchy. Let me zoom in here so we can see this a little bit better. Texture. I like that amount of texture, but it's brought in a lot of noise. So I'm going to come down here to the noise, and oh yeah, I like that. I'm going to pump up this noise slider to kind of get rid of all the noise. Yeah, and then the sharpness also I'm going to get up. So now I've got this kind of really kind of glass-like looking thing. Oh, the Moire looks nice too, but that got a lot of more. The Moire didn't do much. Got rid of a lot of the color, you know, that kind of iridescence on the bubble, and I'm gonna leave that at 0 for now. And to do fringe, also leave that at 0. Let me just double click these here, make sure they're not affecting the image. Try the dehaze again. Now this is just the dehaze on the mask. Yeah, it's dropping out the background. You can see that like through here, this area here, it makes the background look a bit better, a bit darker. It's matching it, right? So gives it even more of a translucent kind of feel without really affecting the highlights. So that works pretty well. Let me toggle this on and off and have a look. I love it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through and I'm going to paint some more of these thin lines. So I'll be back. I'm not going to ask you to watch me do that. So I'll be back in a sec. I don't know if I want to do any of this here. I don't think that's really necessary. Kind of want to keep to the figure here, so all right. So let me go through here again. So I think I got enough of the strands. Actually, let me do one more here. I think this is kind of a really nice decorative one, you know, and even if I don't hit the line exactly or there's nothing there, I'm kind of also painting in, because I know I'm kind of painting in these tendrils, because if you look at we turn off the mask, they are, interesting. I think the dehaze actually made it a bit darker. That's interesting. So let me see if the dehaze here. Yeah, the dehaze, too much dehaze. So you can see with the dehaze I put really high, that the thin lines are not really working so well. So I got to bring that back right about there and find some other way to drop out the shadows here. So I might come back here, and actually I think I might just add some black. Or bring down the contrast a bit and then drop down the shadows. That's gonna have to be black. So what I'll do is I'll keep it there, and now I'm going to go through my mask with the brush, and then I'm going to subtract brush, but I'm only going to do my flow at a density of like 13, you know. So I'm going to go brush. I'm going to do let's see. I'm gonna do my eraser brush, and the flow is going to be 23, and I'm just gonna start erasing some of this here as I show you the overlay. I'm gonna start making this a bit thinner. Too much flow. Let me go back. We'll look at it like this so I can see more what is happening on my background. And then these areas here, kind of get rid of that there. Maybe go down in here and get rid of some of this. It gives it more of a transparent feel, right? It's weird. It's kind of weird, gotta admit. All right, and I think this suffered a lot from the dehaze, so I'm taking some of that off also. That black there, and this, and that. I might not even put that in there because there's not a lot there, so let me just completely get rid of that there. This one's a bit much, not really working. Yeah, these are a bit messy, so I'm gonna go ahead and take those out. I'd love to fix this up a bit, but I think I'm gonna do this with a different mask, right? So I'm gonna take all this out and paint those with a different mask, maybe just exposure, right? So I'll take these out, all this here, and go new mask, brush, new mask, brush. Make it small here. I'm just going to test this out. So let's see if I can get those looking like something else with just exposure. Yeah. And I'll add a lot of clarity to that because I know that'll help. No, completely wrong. Contrast, is that going to help? Lower the contrast. Bring up the whites. And sharpen the heck out of it. And noise. Cool. So let's go out now. Oh, I don't know if I like those lines, but I'm gonna leave them for now. Anyway, so that's basically the image. I mean, let me get this mask thing off here. Put it over there. Yeah. And so let's look at the before and after. So that's my image before and then after. So you can see I saw a lot of potential in the image, you know, using my imagination, kind of like fantasizing it. As I was shooting it, the whole idea of these organic beings, you know, when I was doing the bubble project was pretty intense, and you know, capturing them with a slow shutter speed, a fast shutter speed, and getting the form of the bubble in these organic shapes really made me think of something like some kind of alternative type of life form, and you know, that idea turned into part of the characteristics of the bubble is it's very kind of it's very wavy, it's very colorful, but it's also glassine in its look. You know, it looks like glass, and so you can enhance that, make it look glass-like or water-like, and that was the idea behind this processing. I think I don't really like the lines I made up here. They don't look as organic as they should be. Maybe it's going to require some better brushing technique. I'm not sure, but you know, before I go, maybe I should have a look at the background, because I did the background, and it's just this mask here, and it was just minus exposure and bringing down the sharpness, but also maybe some minus clarity. Oh, one more thing I want to do is to help this pop from the background, my subject, I want to select it, and I also want to, because I have a blue cast in here. I haven't done any image color balancing, so I'm going to try to change make it a little bit warmer, the color, and see what it looks like, you know, and then I start to create a color contrast in the image. Green doesn't really work. I don't like the magenta, or the temperature balance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the saturation a bit, but I'm going to try shifting the hue. See if I can get something that works for me, but it doesn't seem to be working for me really. It's kind of taking it out of that realm of I don't want to say normal. So maybe I try select the color in the background and try something warm. Yeah, how about that? Like this pale mustard kind of look there. I'm not sure if I like that yet, but it looks a bit more neutral compared to the background. Now I can go back to the background, yeah, and enhance the blue. Not too much. I don't want it saturated. I just want it a bit more blue. Actually, I think I'll go out, and I will do a tint here with my little white balance. There we go. Oh, that's easy. Oh, let's have a look at that now. Yeah, that's it. I hope you liked the video. If you got any questions about any of the techniques I used, let me know. It was mostly just masking and trying to get out what I see in my head. You know, if I'm thinking of it's something glass or water like, you know, it's gonna be very contrasty. It's gonna be very shiny, you know, and so I adjusted I made all my adjustments were to help manifest that idea. All right, so I think I'm gonna recrop it at some point because it's all right, but I kind of like it that it's to the right and it looks like it's traveled through the scene. Maybe that idea of traveling through the scene is something I can work with when I process it more. All right, thanks for watching. I love the image potential videos. I know they're a bit long, but you know, it's full of good stuff. Hopefully you enjoyed it and have the patience to stick with me while I work on my images. Thanks a lot for watching.